Hello, I'm Amy from the Momentum team, and I'm joined today by Michael from MAP, who's going to tell us a little bit about their advice line and how they're working with young people during this COVID-19 crisis. Michael, do you want to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your role and just what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Hi there, yeah, I'm Michael. I'm a senior advice worker at MAP and part of the advice team. We run a young person's drop-in from 1:30 to 5:30 Monday to Friday, where we give advice around a number of subjects, stuff like housing, benefits, sexual health, employment and education and training. And we always say if it's something we don't know, then we'll try and signpost you or find a service that may be able to help you. That's kind of our tagline. So, extra parts of my role is I line manage the advice team or members of the advice team with another senior, Georgie Murdoch. So I have sort of line management responsibilities too in my role.
Right, and what age groups is the advice line targeted at?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's 11 to 25-year-olds that we work with. We do we invite any of that age group into our advice drop-ins, but also we do have a counselling service that can work with 11 to 18-year-olds, and we've got the youth work service that also works with 11 to 18-year-olds doing the youth work. So the advice they can go up to 25 years old for that kind of advice, because we as a MAP we kind of acknowledge that young people may still need advice in the kind of early 20s and going into that kind of adult life where a lot of the statutory services stop at 18. There's still a transitional period because young people just grow at different speeds. So MAP kind of allow for that in the advice team to go up to the 25 years. So yeah, that's kind of why we work with that age group.
Yeah, and if you've got mental health issues that things that you're worried about, that's not going to stop at your 19th birthday, is it? So it's like having that consistent person you can speak to must be really helpful.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice transitional age, I think, so that we're just giving that a little bit more breathing space for young people, and where some statutory services don't do that really. So yeah.
So how's your work shifted in the past couple of months while we've been all working from home and socially distancing and all of that?
It's changed a lot, and the service, although the core values of MAP haven't changed, and we're still giving advice, the services obviously had to change like a lot of other services, I guess the whole of the UK and even the world of this pandemic. So quite quickly we identified that working from home would be kind of best practice like a lot of other organisations. So we kind of worked together with the SN team how we thought it was a really important time to keep delivering advice during this pandemic, and that people may really need that service still. So we talked about how we can still do that safely for the young people and for us. So with advice, we felt the only thing you really need is a phone line. The face-to-face work has always been something that we're very proud of. But during this time to do that would be unsafe. So we decided on doing phone advice, and that's where the advice line kind of idea came up with. We thought that a free phone number would be the best way for that, to make it more accessible for everyone around Norfolk. So that was where, within days that idea was kind of raised, and we started the steps to do that. And I think in the first 4 days we had that up and running, and were giving advice to people over the phone and email inquiries as well if people didn't feel comfortable with that. The phone can. We understand that some people with mental health issues or just generally confidence issues might not feel comfortable talking on the phone. So we've got that email option as well. So which seems to work really well.
And what are the numbers looking like in terms of how many contacts you have? Do you have those kind of figures or?
I don't have the figures to hand. It's something that I can email to you, definitely. It's I can tell you a bit about what have been the sort of common things that people have been getting
Yeah,
in
that'd be
touch
great.
with, if that would be useful. So
Yeah.
it's kind of changed throughout the time of you know, with the pandemic. It started. We had quite a lot of phone calls, actually, inquiries about furloughing and what that meant, and uh, if they should accept furlough, should I look at benefits, should I look at other work, you know, will I be made redundant? There's lots of phone calls around that. Um, so that was kind of at the start of the pandemic, and then within about a week from that, so that's probably the first week, and then a week later, a lot of housing inquiries came in. So people that had either been sofa surfing and running out of options, and were looking at sort of nights out on the street, or family relationships breaking down and people having to leave family homes. We're getting in touch for advice. Due to obviously a lot of the private rented stuff is quite hard to get anyway, but during the pandemic, a lot of the estate agents were closing and couldn't do viewings and stuff like that too. So we, as advisors, we had to kind of try and keep up to date. So luckily, there's the government guidance around the no one should be rough sleeping and priority need, and local connection rules would be relaxed for the COVID-19 period, so that everyone could be housed temporarily. So that was really good that we got to grips with that straight away, so we could make referrals to Norwich City Council, other district councils, for people to be put into temporary accommodation immediately to obviously keep them off the streets and safeguard them and others, and make sure that no one, you know, would, you know, get COVID-19 or spread COVID-19 really. So again, I think that was really good teamwork with us, looking into that government guidance and being able to advise young people that actually we could get you into temporary a lot quicker, and that you shouldn't have to rough sleep for even a night. Um, we've still had a lot of mental health inquiries, so people, you know, mental health has been a problem in Norfolk for quite some time. Services have struggled and funding has been cut. So we've felt that as an organisation. I'm sure other organisations have. So we've still had a lot of young people calling in, needing to just have a general chat, or ask about what counselling is available from MAP, and if they're outside of their age range, where else could they go for support of their mental health. So again, you know, the advice team had to kind of look at what other services are around and how they change their practices. So, you know, the first response number that NSFT had started, that was good to see that, and we were able to signpost people to that and use lots of different techniques to be able to support people's mental health, which we felt is probably been made worse due to the pandemic and the lockdown, and how that feels, you know, people being more isolated, and where they had probably were able to visit family or friends for support, that has been cut off as well. So we knew that it was something that we really needed to kind of make sure we were giving the best advice, and making sure that young people were getting the help that they needed, and that they were safe too. So and then it kind of goes on to I've kind of missed one actually. It was that's been big throughout COVID-19, and that's actually food bank vouchers,
Oh, of
due to
course, yeah.
due to sort of obviously people being furloughed or even losing work, or having benefit issues to start off with, and then finding it hard to navigate universal credit without, you know, help. That's meant that people have wanted or needed food. So that's been a consistent key theme throughout COVID-19, that we've had to do a lot of referrals to the food bank. So I don't think that's going to be something that will finish anytime soon. I think that's going to continue to be a strong theme throughout COVID-19.
Yeah.
Actually, kind of benefits advice has been steady, but not actually as many inquiries as I thought. I think quite a lot of people read up themselves and looked at the internet about entitlement to universal credit and have been doing that themselves. But we've still had a lot of inquiries about sort of mandatory considerations and appeals for PIP or ESA. So we've managed to do those over the phone actually, which has been a new challenge, but it has worked, which is great. So yeah, there's some of the key themes and the challenges we've had as an organisation during COVID-19 anyway.
Yeah, so I guess you've had to learn an awful lot very quickly about what's changed and what services are out there and what support there is. So that must have been a big challenge, especially all working from home. So you've not got that kind of atmosphere in the office of being able to say, oh, I've just found out this, and sort of sharing that information with each other. Must have been a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, exactly. But the good thing about it, and if we're going to look at sort of the positive about it, is a lot of other organisations have been in the same situation, and it's been nice to kind of share working practices with other organisations. So that's been really positive as well out of it, and getting to kind of work together to make sure that all services are providing and helping people in need. So that's been really nice to kind of be able to do that too.
Yeah, and hopefully that's something that will carry on, you know, post COVID, whenever that is, whatever that looks like, building those kind of working relationships with different organisations, that will stick.
Yeah, definitely, and helping each other out. That's I think that's really important during this time.
Great. So how can young people access the advice line? What's the number that they have to call?
Okay, yeah, so it's a free phone number. It's 0800 07 44454. And like I said, the advice line is for anyone sort of 11 to 25 years old. I did mention the drop-in when we were at Rise Presenter. It's 1:30 to 5:30, but the advice line is open from 2:30 till 5:30, Monday to Friday. So yeah, all you need is a phone to be able to ring that advice line, and hopefully it's a free phone. If you're having any issues, then you can leave us your number and we'll call you back. The other thing you can do is, if you don't feel comfortable in talking over the phone, we do have the email address, which is advice@map.uk.net. So you can just email any inquiries into that, and it'll be picked up that day. And even an advisor can email you back, or if you provide a number, they can phone you back too to give advice. And like I said, it's around, we can do housing, benefits, employment, education, sexual health, and like I said, if there's anything else then we'll try, that we can't deal with, then we'll signpost you to an appropriate service too.
That's great, thanks. And just thinking about professionals and other organisations that are out there, if they want to get in touch with you about what you're doing, can they email that advice email address as well?
Yeah, and also we're encouraging them to phone. You know, we took just as many inquiries off professionals from statutory services or the third sector during COVID-19 to see what we're offering, or run a case past us, or even just get some advice. So we're more than happy to take inquiries from professionals too. And yeah, I would encourage them to phone. Start off with, if they don't have the time to do that, yeah, please send us an email soon. Definitely get back to those as well.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much.
No problem.